Alright everyone, welcome to Best of NWF's NXT After Show September 23rd, 2015. Now this is definitely the hottest product going for WWE, especially after suffering through a very lackluster Raw and Night of Champions. It was nice to get back to some real wrestling action with NXT. Now I say that and then we go right into our first match, which we have Eva Marie versus Carmella. Now Eva Marie, as I've said before, she is so green, and, you know, pairing her with someone like Carmella, which isn't, you know, a ring general in her own right, it definitely goes to show and really highlight where she is as far as wrestling goes. And it kind of sucks because I feel like she could be doing a lot better if they used her in a better spot. But going to say that, I found it pretty interesting early in the match. They discussed it from a few weeks ago when Eva Marie definitely didn't kick out in time, and she beat, I forget the girl's name, I think Billie Kay, and, you know, the crowd was all over Eva Marie for that. You know, at that time it still seemed like they were portraying Eva Marie as a face, but it looked like on this match here they were really portraying her as the heel. And not only was she showboating a lot more, you know, she had it looked like a 3 count, and the ref, you know, stopped the count. Now I thought, wow, they're really going to push this whole heel thing. But she did get her foot on the rope, but I still like how they played that. And then with her throwing Carmella outside the ring for a count-out victory, really plays into the heel role. And I wish WWE would notice this more often, especially on the main roster. Now you might have a project that you really want to be getting over, and you see as the next, you know, face of the company, but when they come in and the crowd organically, you know, tells you no, I feel like you should definitely always go along right with it. You know, there's no need to second guess that. Follow the crowd. Eventually, if Eva Marie gets the respect of the fans, she'll be a big time face. So, you know, as much as I'm not a big Eva Marie fan, I'm happy that they finally realized, hey, the crowd's saying no, let's go with that. Let's push that harder. Let's push their buttons. And, at least for that, that was pretty good. So like I said, Eva Marie gets the count-out victory over Carmella. After that, our next match is Bull Dempsey versus Tyler Breeze. Now, you know, coming out of the Tag Classic, I really wish this feud was going on. When they announced the match for tonight, I was a little sad because I really thought that this could be, you know, the feud at TakeOver Respect. I think they have good chemistry. There's a good dynamic. You know, the bullfit thing, the crowd's really into that, but they also respect Tyler Breeze. So it's a match where no matter who wins or loses, the crowd can respect that. And a lot of times I think in WWE, you know, when they make wins and losses not matter, but they seem to push, you know, more deserving, or they push less deserving people over more deserving, the crowd can definitely turn against that situation. But like I said before, in NXT, for the most part, everyone's well respected. So if you're gonna, let's say, push Bull over Tyler Breeze, you know, people like Bull, so they can have that. If you want Breeze to win, people are gonna accept that too. So Breeze picked up the victory here, and you know, going forward in the show, they stated that Breeze is going to be taking over another wrestler at TakeOver Respect. I don't know why I can't remember the name now, but Tyler Breeze is... Oh, Apollo Crews. So Tyler Breeze is going to take on Apollo Crews at TakeOver Respect, but I would have much rather seen the Bullfit Tyler Breeze feud go on all the way to there. So Tyler Breeze picked up the victory, like I said, and I guess this is the end for them. After that, we had Kana contract signing. I do like how they acknowledge that, especially for Kenta and now with Kana, they're acknowledging their name outside of WWE, and I think that's important, and it makes the transition to a new name better, especially when they did the Kenta to Hideo Itami, and you know, he explained why he picked the name and that he picked the name. I think it was easier for the crowd to say, okay, that's your name now. So with Kana, she comes in, and they did the same kind of thing where the little Titantron changes from Kana I thought it was Asuka. The crowd thought it was Asuka, but after William Regal pronounced it Asuka, we went with that. But I don't know if I would have maybe left out that U, because I think the average fan's gonna call her Asuka. So, but she's exciting. I can't wait for her to start. Getting in the ring with some of these girls. The problem is, as far as the really good women's wrestlers in NXT, they've all moved up to Raw. So, besides Emma and Bayley, a lot of the other girls are a lot more green. So it'll be interesting to see, I'm guessing she's going to go against Emma, maybe first into a feud with Dana Brooke, because it seems like they're really behind Dana Brooke. But, they both came out and interrupted the signing. Asuka goes up the ramp, and I'm thinking, I'm waiting for her to kick off her heels and run back in the ring and kick some ass. But she goes all the way up the ramp. The crowd starts chanting Asuka. She turns around, gives a really crazy look, which I liked, but then proceeded to leave the NXT arena, which I guess we'll see. I guess it'll be a little more mind games. But this goes to show you there's so much more storytelling in NXT compared to on the main roster with the Divas, where nothing makes sense. This was a nice little bit of storytelling, going forward. We'll see how it turns out. Like, I appreciate the risk in having her just kind of walk out, but intriguing to see, her ferocity when she finally gets one of them in the ring. So I wish on the main roster the women's had more storylines or more subtlety to when they come out in the ring. I mean, it really makes a big difference when, you're telling the stories between the lines as well. So that was a nice little segment. They did a lot of recap of the NXT Tag Team Classic. The Vaudevillains apparently lost to Dawson and Wilder. I'm not sure why they're in the Tag Team Classic. I feel like the winner of the Tag Team Classic should have been the #1 contenders and then face the Vaudevillains. So now in my head, Dawson and Wilder, they both, or they have a victory. So do they get a tag team title shot now? I don't know. So I think they should have just left them out of the tournament and had the winner of the Tag Team Classic fight the Vaudevillains for the title at one of these NXT specials, probably the one in London. But moving on from that, we have Blake and Murphy versus the Vaudevillains, and it's really interesting to think of when Blake and Murphy first came on NXT. I mean, they were the most generic tag team you could ever imagine, but the addition of Alexa Bliss, their outfits, the music, the presentation, how they get in the ring, they're a legitimate tag team. They held the NXT tag team titles for over 200 days, and they had that wonderful match with the Vaudevillains at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. And as much as I want the Vaudevillains to keep on a roll, because they definitely deserve it, I definitely don't want Blake and Murphy to fall into obscurity, because they've definitely shown that from something you would have never thought could work, they made it work. So, but overall, this NXT was pretty decent. Like I said, it was nice to watch this after watching such a headache-inducing Raw and just a stale, boring Night of Champions. I can't wait for the next NXT TakeOver special with Sasha Banks and Bayley going in the Iron Woman match. And this is definitely still the best show for WWE. So for Best of NWF, we'll catch you next time on Raw.